Hi everyone and welcome to our webinar. Today we are going to be discussing how grooming is directly related to the coat type that all dogs have. So let's dive into it. Not Let's start by noting that not all coats are equal. The grooming results are going to depend heavily on the coat type that the dog has. Using the wrong technique or tool can cause discomfort and also can damage the coat, and at the end of the day this can lead to frustration to your clients. And on the pet industry, the clients, they are not complaining to you directly, but they tend to leave bad reviews online about your business, which can heavily impact your business image. That's why we are going to talk about code types and how understanding the different code types of the dogs can make you have good reviews and happier pet parents and fewer complaints. There are three different types of coat types. So let's start with the smooth coat, which is always close lying. And to give you an example, the beagle is an example of a smooth coat. And also we have double coat dogs that have dense undercoat, outer guard hair. For example, the husky and the silky coat dogs. Um, those are the ones that have fine long hair. For example, the Yorkshire Terrier. That's one of the dogs that we can put in this group. Out of the three types that I described, we also can include the dogs that have curly coat. For this type of dogs, they require um, dense curls with minimal shedding. And there are also another subcategory, which are the ones that have wire coat. This is a harsh texture and they require hand stripping. Now let's talk about the different instruments that you need to use depending on the different coat type. For smooth coats, you need to use always a rubber brush and a mitt. For double coat dogs, you need to use undercoat rake slicker. For a silky coat, just use a pin brush and a detangler. For curly coats, use a slicker and a clipper. And for wire coats, use a stripping knife. Now, what are the different needs or what haircuts can you do depending on the dog's coat? Here are some examples. For example, a smooth coat, you can do minimal brushing, just patting and a slim trim. Double coat dogs, they require the matting and the shedding because they have a thicker layer of hair. They always they are very they tend to mat a lot, so you should always do a demat and desheds more than two desheds. Also, for silky coats, they need daily brushing and trims. For curly coats, you can do regular trims just to prevent matting. And for wire coats, you can do the hand stripping and the light trimming. These are some mistakes that you need to avoid at all costs. First of all is using the wrong tools for dense or curly coats. As mentioned before, you need to be very careful with this type of coats. So just make sure that you're always using the right instruments. Also, brushing only the top layer because mats can hide underneath. So you need to make sure that your dematting session goes well. In noting the coat condition when quoting time or cost. If you're not clear to the pet parent if a dog is really matted, you need to make sure that they are aware about the cost and time relationship of your service, just so they don't seem surprised when they go pick up their dogs at the end of the session. And last but not least is that the grooming experience goes beyond the session. Pet parents notice everything, and for sure, when their dog doesn't look as they expected, they tend to complain. And nowadays, pet parents don't complain over the phone as it used to be decades ago. Now they just go and Google your business name and they type a very, very bad review that can make or can prevent possible customers that you may have to go to your business. That's why communication is key. To prevent this kind of complaints and miscommunication, it's necessary for you to follow up after each session and make sure that your clients are satisfied. And here in Technopaws, we get that as a busy grooming salon, you don't have the time to follow up after each client individually. We get that. That's why we've developed PawPulse. PawPulse is an awesome tool that will help you collect feedback before it hits the web. So you can catch clients' complaints before they go public. This can help you a lot to prevent bad reviews and also can help you obtain good reviews for your clients that were satisfied with your service. And you might be wondering, how does it work? So let me just explain to you. Here is the dashboard of our PawPulse tool. So here you can see your overall store rating. Here you can see we have a rating of 5 stars. Then you are going to see the total pending cases. These will be the clients that were not satisfied with the service. You will be able to track them here and you will be able to act on time before it gets worse. And here you are going to be able to track interactions with the date and time of the service. Here you will be able to see the service date and time, the type of service that the client got, the name of the client, and also view the details of the interaction. And now just let me share you in real time how does how can we interact with the dashboard. So here you can see all the interactions that we had in PawPulse. So here's the tool. Give me just 1 second. Let me make sure. We go to technopaws.co. Here you can select Discover PawPulse, and here you are going to be able to see your dashboard. Here, here is all the clients that you've registered, and you can always hit on new interaction. To register a client, you only have to put the client's phone number, the client's name, the name of the pet, the type of service that they got, if it was grooming or retail, and you can select the date and time of that service. After you create your first interaction, your pet parent is going to receive a text message so they can rate your service. And here, our tool will let you know in case that you have a complaint or in case you have a pet parent that is not happy with the service. How great is that? So we just created PawPulse as we discovered the necessity that the pet industry brands have right now to provide updates on time to their pet parents. So now that we saw how the tool works, and now that you've registered and learned how every single code type requires a special attention, we want to give you a free demo on PawPulse. For all of our attendees, we are going to give you a free demo on the tool so you can start creating interactions right now. So you just have to give me a comment here below. You need to comment your store name and we will send you all the information. If you want to get in touch with us and you want to learn more about pet care, you're more than welcome to call us at 803-978-4357. You can also leave us a comment here, or you can email us to uh, contact@technopaws.com. And also, you can find us on Instagram at Technopaws_US. So that was it for today. Thank you so much for joining our webinar, and I hope that you learned a lot and that you registered today to PawPulse so you can start transforming the way you deliver service in pet industry.